Everybody, welcome to One Set.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? Jim Green here, along with my co-host and best friend, Anthony Irvin. My guy, what is going on?
Not much, man. Same stuff, different day. Uh, you know, we've been getting back to the swing of things within these last weeks. Everybody's going back to school. Everybody's, having, new things going around them. My son just started in a new room at this point, and so he's bumping up in the daycare center. My wife's been, having some new adjustments at work. So, everybody's going through their fall changes and everything. And my work's kind of been staying the same a little bit with, we've been going through clinical trials and trying to do this here and there. So it hasn't really changed too much, but, I think within this, when you come into fall, everything kind of just starts having that new, cause it's like the calendar year of everything kind of starts getting into the start of the year. So it's kind of just like it's like almost like a brush off moment. So, how have you been, man?
I can piggyback straight off of that and say I am back into my uh, fall routine schedule with work, with teaching, because with dance studios in general, their summer programs are usually much lighter because like summer vacations and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, kids are back in school. So dance studios, they start up their calendar year, like you were saying. We
Hmm.
dance studios, they run like end of August or early September, depending on when their local areas school districts go back to school. So like when the kids are
Yeah.
back local steadily is when those studios start back up again. Um, so it's cool meeting new kids, new students, or seeing returning students. That um, it's I think it's really fun watching them go through the phases where it's like they may start at it as a beginner here, and then like you see the potential in them, but you just like you want them to get there, but you just stay patient. You're
Yeah.
like, they'll get there. Just give it time, and then it's like they start hitting their stride at the end of one year. It's like as long as they come back in September with that same like fire,
Right.
it's going to be their year, and then they're going to start taking off. So I'm excited to see that. It does need to be. It doesn't need to be acknowledged, but you do run into your kids where they got really good and then they plateau, or they
Yeah.
plateau and then they start getting less invested because they become more invested in other things, and then they just kind of start doing this little drop off thing. So
Yeah.
never look forward to that, honestly, but it's just kind of the nature of it. You got all kids, they wind up moving on kind of a different path, right? Everyone has their own journey. So um,
Right.
some kids
And
will
as you as a
just
teacher, like you want them to kind of all kind of go in a steep incline with everything, and you want them to continue to get better. But especially working with kids, I mean, like you said, some people catch on to it and they want to get better, and then some kids, not that they don't want to get better, but they end up getting to a point where they plateau and like, okay, do I want to continue doing this or do I want to try something else? And some of them will try something else, and then that thing will start going down where their new thing will start going up.
right.
But as a teacher, I mean, you always want to kind of see everybody, steadily incline. But obviously, not everybody is on the same path. Everybody, like you just said, everybody has their own little path that they go on.
Right. It's 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 cool because it's like um it's not boring by any means. It's not doing the same thing all the time. Um So I think for as many times as we see like a student maybe not go the direction that you want them to, and they start doing this thing, you'll get another student that just like out of nowhere is like it's like something clicks and they just hit the ground running, and then they just start flying, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of flying, I saw the Top Gun 2 recently, and I
right.
know you had seen it a couple times, and I think we wanted to try to, piggyback off of maybe talking a little bit about that tonight.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. You were like speaking of flying, and I totally, dude. By the way, y'all, it is 12:36 in the morning. So
Yeah. We're having a
little,
late recording for this one.
yeah, yeah. So bear with me if I'm a little foggy on the references. Yes, we're like, what are we talking about this week? And we were like trying to decide. I was like, wait,
Uh-huh.
you just saw Talk on it, and you were like, that's
Yeah,
it. Let's go for it.
let's do it.
So, um, spoiler alert, right? Like, just saying this
Spoilers.
now, and you're gonna put this in the. I'll put it in the description and say, hey, if you
Mhm.
plan on seeing it and haven't seen it, tune out for this episode, okay? Because we're totally gonna talk
Right.
about it, right? And it's funny because uh, a couple episodes ago, I was asking you, what do you think is too long before we can start talking
Right.
about it, right? So this movie came out uh like right before it was like the Wednesday and Thursday leading into Memorial Day weekend in May, okay?
Mhm.
And we're recording this after Labor Day weekend, okay? So we are
Yeah.
we are literally,
What, like
let
3,
me see,
4 months?
I'm just counting this off here. 11, 12, we're literally like 14, 15 weeks out. So I think that's a pretty good amount of time.
We're
You
gonna
know,
say spoilers, but if you haven't at this point, you've probably seen spoilers from somebody else.
right,
So
right,
don't blame us.
right. Oh man. Wait, have you seen the new James Bond movie or no?
I haven't.
Okay. I don't
I
remember if I
never got
spoiled it.
into the James Bond movies. Yeah.
Okay. So um guess what? That movie came out forever ago. So if you
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the new Bond movie, oh shoot. No Time to Die. Okay,
Yeah.
another major spoiler coming. Three, two, one. Yeah. So I got home and from seeing that, and I was like, Dad, they killed James Bond off, right? Um, and my sister got mad and was like, "Yo, what if he wanted to see it?" I was like,
Right.
this guy has not been to the movies in decades." Like, the thing is, the thing is like, as we previously discussed, right? If I didn't spoil it right then immediately, now that was a
Whoopsie.
move. Okay, I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, um, but I just blurted it out when I got home because I was like so surprised and baffled by it. Um, but um, my parents and I were going over to see my aunt and uncle after I had seen Top Gun Maverick, and
Right.
I was like, the movie is insanely good. I was beyond surprised at how much I enjoyed it. But my mom goes, do they kill Tom Cruise off? And I was like, now why would I say that? My dad was like, well, you kind of spilled the beans on James Bond. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
And I'm not sure when I was watching it, and again, spoilers, but when I was watching Top Gun 2, I was thinking, I thought I already. heard a spoiler that Tom Cruise dies in this one, but again, it must have been the James Bond movie that I was thinking of because I remember you
Mm.
talking about it and everybody, spoiling that. So I guess in my mind, I was thinking, oh well, I think they're killing off Tom Cruise's character in this, but then at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh well, he didn't. So I'm like, okay, cool. But like you just said, I've never seen the first one, but after seeing this one, incredible movie, and I got to give it up to the real fighter jet people who in the Navy and Army who do that as a job, flying those planes. It's incredible that you have to be a top notch person to be in that type of a line of work.
You're in the top 1%
Yeah,
of what you do.
like there's
That's
no margin for error in that type of job. You cannot
whoopsie. Nope.
f
Nope.
up.
Nope. Um, yeah, I mean, uh like I was saying before we got started, I saw because I had never seen the original one. Um, and then the Lady Gaga music video made me want to see Maverick, right?
Mm,
So, I mean, that's how big of a fan of Lady Gaga I am, but the song is just so powerful.
uh-huh.
Have you seen the music video for Hold My Hand or no?
I don't think I have,
All right.
no.
Well, I will send that to you and you'll watch it. And it's got clips from the movie, so you'll be like, oh, okay. But
Cool.
seeing the trailer, or not the trailer, the music video, they troll the audience so hard into certain
Hmm.
things. You, I keep wanting to say spoiler alert. The whole episode is a spoiler alert, okay?
Yeah.
um,
In the description, it's just gonna start with spoiler alerts anyway.
yeah, yeah. So you know when the one plane goes down and crashes in the mountain?
Yeah.
So in the music video, they show the plane go down, and then they show um, Pete or Maverick, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
They show the funeral scene, and
Oh, yeah.
they show him nail the pin into the coffin, and then the jets flying over. Um,
Yeah.
so in my head, I'm like, okay, someone crashes into the mountain and they die, and that's who the
Yeah.
funeral. That's what the funeral scene was. So in the theater, watching the movie, I'm watching the plane go down,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, she's
Whoopsie.
gonna die, she's gonna die, she's gonna die, she's gonna die. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I also had read that Val Kilmer asked or begged Tom Cruise to be in the movie. Like I saw an article of that, but also knew that he couldn't talk. I know how sick that he is.
I
Um,
didn't know that he had throat cancer until, I was watching with, family members and they were saying that he had throat cancer. I'm like, what? I mean, hey, I mean, I knew he was in the movie because he was in the original. So they got a lot of the original characters coming back for it, which was awesome.
right.
Uh, but with his character being able to type a lot of his words, and then he was only able to actually speak a couple of his phrases, which I thought was, unique since they were able to work around, him having,
So
the voice box and everything.
so what they did was they had him mouth it, and then they computer generated what he was saying. Like that wasn't actually him talking.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was told that, his scarf was covering his throat uh thing.
Mm,
So again, it's good that they were able to still use his character in only a, minimal amount of a way,
right.
but
Yeah.
still be able to give the audience and the viewers from the first one to give him his character and give his, ending into the character, justice. So
Right.
it was cool.
Right. Yeah. I thought that he wasn't in it, but then the opening credits had his name listed. I was like, wait a minute, and
Yeah,
then
wait a minute.
wait a minute, and then you know I thought that um I thought that the movie was just done so well. It to me is it's the best sequel that I've ever seen. Like probably
Mm,
ever. God, the Dark Knight after Batman Begins is just that's it's just hard to compete with, man.
yeah,
It's just hard to compete
I
with.
believe. Yeah, I agree.
Just because I didn't think that Batman Begins was like I can't tell you the last time that I've gone back and was like, oh, I want to watch Batman Begins. No, I've gone back and watched The Dark Knight like
Yeah,
plenty of
Batman
times.
Begins is good, but if you have to put those, I would probably say, you know, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, then Batman Begins, because you got Heath Ledger, Bane, and I would still put Bane and Heath Ledger very close because the guy that played Bane was amazing too.
Yeah,
But
Tom Hardy.
Batman Begins was, yeah, and Batman Begins was good, but it was like, almost a setup to everything else. So it
It,
didn't really have. I mean, it got Scarecrow and everybody, but it was just pretty much a setup for
it
everything
it
else.
was a slow build, yeah. So
Hmm.
I thought I thought The Dark Knight Rises was like a little bit long. Like when
Hmm.
like getting getting to the point where Bane breaks Batman's back, right?
Yeah,
That the movie felt like fine up until there, but when he was doing the rehab thing in the well,
I felt it dropped off at that point. That was like
right
the big, like, yeah.
right there, when he was doing all that
Then
rehab stuff,
when he got out of the cave, you're like, okay, now the movie can continue. Like I felt it was good, and then it went like, "Vroom," and
and
then
then
once he got out of the cave, you're like, okay, now we're back.
yeah,
It's like you went into another movie at
yeah.
for that for that little bit. And like you said, I do think that movie went a little long, and I think it was half because of him hurting his back and everything. I broke my back. You ever see the Mike Tyson thing? I broke my back.
No,
It's spinal.
it's it's spinal. It's
It's
spinal.
spinal.
It,
It's
it,
spinal.
it's it's spinal.
We better shut up. Mike Tyson's gonna watch this and he's gonna kick our ass.
Yeah, I need to be able to hear my music, so I don't want to lose an ear or anything. Go
Yeah, right.
go Van Gogh on everyone.
Whoopsie. Van Gogh.
uh,
But no, getting back to Top Gun, like we were saying, I mean, you're in the 1% of being like those, uh, you know, flyers, and going in, even the opening scene of just knowing that they were going to be shut down, but he's like, all right, one last ride, and he goes like to 10 G's, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And then he
yeah,
gets it, he's like, let me push it just a little more,
and
and I'm
then
like, this dude's fucking crazy.
yeah, yeah. Well, they're like he's the fastest man on the planet. I was wild. I mean, obviously, I mean not obviously. I don't know. I don't know if somebody else was flying that plane in particular, and then like they just sped it up to make it look like it was going faster, kind of thing.
Right.
Um,
But they started out in California and
mhm.
he ended up in Virginia. I would like to know, going in that speed, how long it took him to go to get from California to Virginia in that like amount
Wait,
of time, because I'm sure it was very fast.
wait. How do you know that he landed in Virginia?
When he got into the cafe, I think he asked where he was, and they said Virginia or West Virginia or something like
No,
that. Correct me if
no,
I'm wrong.
no, no. Yeah. He asked where he was, and the kid said Earth.
Earth,
Yeah,
Earth. But why am I thinking something with West Virginia or Virginia? I don't know
I,
why. I'll have to go back. But I do remember him saying like, "Where am I?" And because everybody thought he was a freaking alien with
yeah,
his getup and everything. He's
yeah,
like, Earth.
yeah, yeah. Because I wondered after the second time I saw it, Which I was saying we watched the first Top Gun the day before we were planning to go see the new one,
Uh
um,
huh.
which was the it was like 4 or 5 days after it came out in the theater. Um, the first time I saw it, and then I wound up. My mom had never seen the original, and then she just randomly like watched it the one day. She wound up watching it like 4 times. She's like, "I need to go see the new one." I was like, "All right, well, we'll take you." So
Yeah.
we when because I had a show like so the 10 days leading up to the show, I didn't have good timing to take her. But then after the show happened, I think that Tuesday or I don't know, a few days after that show came out, I took her to see it, and even even knowing like what happens, it was nice to watch it again, just because I was able to kind of like pay a little bit closer attention to some of the more like subtle details that were going on. Um,
Hmm.
it was pretty cool. Wow, God, I can't talk. Okay. Um, I thought that Miles Teller, who's the son Rooster, I thought he
Uh
he
huh.
he did really well in the movie, and
Really well.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that his dynamic with Tom Cruise like on screen was really good. Apparently, they're already talking about doing a third one, and I'm like, now,
Hmm.
I mean, it's it's Paramount Pictures top grossing movie after Titanic. Like Titanic is the top
Hmm.
grossing Paramount
Yeah.
Picture movie, which I've been actually following, uh, like Maverick climbing up the chart for
Uh huh.
because you can Google top lifetime grossing movies, and
Yeah.
um, actually it has the top 200. Oh, it says 1 through 200 of 1,000, so they have the top 1,000 listed.
Jeez.
Um,
And number one is still Titanic, right?
no, no, no. That's for Paramount Pictures, like
Just for Paramount. Okay.
yeah. Um, the number one, and you can do worldwide and domestic. Domestic being just in the United States.
In the United States.
So, guess what number one is? You're probably not going to get it, but
I probably won't.
okay. Avatar is number
Sh-
one.
Should have known.
Yeah,
I should have known that.
I mean, I didn't I didn't like jump out of my pants to go see the movie when it first came out. So, I mean,
I was gonna say, I mean, I saw it, but I wouldn't. I liked it, but it's not like, oh my god, I'm gonna tell 50 of my friends they got to see this movie. It's like it was nice, but I didn't see anything groundbreaking about it.
right.
Maybe at the time, it was like the first of its kind to kind of I mean, they've been doing CGI type things before that, but I guess maybe it was like the first bigger CGI movies that came out at that time. But still, even that might. I mean, it's a good movie, but I wouldn't think that it's like the biggest gross movie of all time.
I I I actually got it. I got like a Blu-ray DVD player for Christmas the one year, and got
Hmm.
Avatar was one of the movies that I got with it. So I watched it on Blu-ray for the first time, and I had just bought myself like my first like 65-inch TV, like for my bedroom, and so the
Yeah.
graphics were incredible, right? But I wasn't like overly compelled by the story or anything like that, you know.
Hmm.
Any rate, uh, Top Gun Maverick is currently number 12 worldwide all time top grossing movie.
And you said it's climbing still, right?
Yeah, I mean it was at like I watched it go from like 75 to like 34 pretty quick, and then it moved up to
Mm,
like 22 and then 17 and then
okay.
13. The thing is once you get close to the top 10, like the number, like the dollar amount money becomes pretty far apart, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
it doesn't look like it, but like the difference between number one being Avatar, and this is worldwide, this is not domestic. Worldwide is 2.84 billion, and
Hmm.
number two, Avengers Endgame, is 2.79 billion.
Mm,
Now, like the difference there is, sorry, long pause there.
what, a tenth?
It's like $50 million, which like
Right.
it doesn't look like a lot, but that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, it's pretty neat though, because like for Top Gun, um, they just for Top Gun Maverick, they just released it so that you could like purchase it digitally, which I'm sure is how you watched it, right? Um, it's still in the theaters too, though. Like they just have it available for digital purchase, but you have to pay $20 still. So that's like
Yeah.
how many people that went to see the movie bought it because of how good it was, but also how many people that didn't get to the theater bought it. So
Uh,
for Maverick to go from 13 to 12 just after the digital buy became available, it's
right.
pretty neat, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that they did, you know, Tom Cruise's role like incredibly well. I know he had probably like complete say over how his character was written and
Oh, yeah.
how he was, acting from here to here. Like whoever the director was probably didn't stop him and suggest he do it differently. Like they were probably just like, if Tom's good with it,
Yeah, go
let's
ahead,
move on.
Tom.
Yeah, how about him, Tommy? Yeah.
Have at him, Tommy. Have at him, Tommy.
Yeah.
Way to go, boy.
Atta boy, Tommy. Tom.
You
Whoopsie.
right.
Yeah. It's like Tommy boy.
Yeah.
um. Any rate, sorry, just trying to get that plug
I
in there.
thought the ending of the movie was awesome, especially when
Well, you definitely thought he was going to get killed, right?
yes, absolutely. Because I
Yeah.
mean, in my head, I was thinking, okay, he's probably going to get knocked off, and then he ends up getting that whole scene. But even before the whole mission officially starts, uh, he ends up doing the whole course and doing it within 15 seconds
Sure.
less than what they needed it to do. And I'm like, they were like, okay, yeah. He needs to be doing. He really needs to be here because none of us can do this.
Yeah.
And I think him taking Rooster as his you know number two, I think we all kind of saw that coming in there because of the character arc with all that. You kind
Yeah.
of knew that was coming because you had Hangman, that was the new dude in town type of thing, like he knows everything, don't mess with me, blah blah blah. And then you had Rooster, who
It,
had you know a storyline with Tom Cruise's character Pete, but and he had a whole history with that, but and then that whole typical thing, like, oh well, he's got to learn, and then eventually throughout the movie he learns the kind of accept this person and blah blah blah, and then they kind of come together, and so yeah, nice.
yeah. it was really cute, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, all in all, well, I mean, I don't want to break down the entire movie. I just wanted to kind of catch
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
reaction on it. I look, I just thought like the final scene where they went in and did the mission, I was sweating the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
I was like, I never felt like this kind of like intense panicked um watching a movie. Now, granted, I'm not talking like horror movies. That's a different kind of like panicked, right? Um
Right. But you're like in it's a suspense,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. I think
And
I
and especially for us, because the suspense got even more because the internet up where we were watching it up in the Poconos, the internet kept going in and out. So
ah
the last like 15 minutes of the movie probably took about 45 minutes for us.
oh
So it was
god.
going in and out through that whole, you know, ending scene where they're going through the mountains, you know, Pete gets shot down. He gets almost annihilated with the plane, and then Rooster comes in. All that was like we would get maybe a minute or two in, then it would shut. It would, you know, buffer. It would buffer almost like every minute or two,
Oh god.
and it was like, come on.
That's awful. That is awful.
And then it finally, eventually, you know, we were able to kind of just see everything. But I mean, it was funny because we're busting up laughing because we're trying to, you know, get through this movie. But, uh, you know, it was cool because it kind of all came together with everything. And, like I said, I mean, for not seeing the first movie, I had people who had seen the first movie, and I kind of was able to get their, you know, formula. Okay, this is because of that. This is because of that, because they mentioned with Peggy that the person who played Peggy in the new one is not the original uh, Peggy that played in the first one, because it seems like she, you know, and I'm saying this lightly, she had gained some weight and she doesn't look like the Peggy in the movie anymore. So they had to cast another new person to play her in her, you know, older age, I guess. So obviously, a person who's never seen the original movie, I wouldn't have known that. But other than that, I just thought the whole action packed part of it was awesome. So,
Yeah, I am just looking really quick at something. Um,
mhm.
yeah, so the thing is, the Kelly in um or no 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 hold on. Yeah, her name's Penny.
Penny, not Peggy.
Yeah. So
Correction, my bad.
correction. Penny is actually a completely different person than the female lead in the first Top Gun.
Yeah, and that's why I
'Cause-
was, you know, saying that the fact that they had to cast a new person, supposedly because the original Penny, you know, has gained a bunch of weight and doesn't look anything like she used to. So
No,
I guess they had to cast a new person,
so
or unless they went a different way that they just didn't, or she didn't want to do the movie. I don't know.
she said that well because I have it pulled up right here. Said
Uh
this
huh.
the 64-year-old actress told ET that she left Hollywood to get sober and focus on raising her family, and isn't necessarily itching to see the sequel anyway. I guess it depends. She quotes, I guess it depends on what kind of review it gets. I'm not racing to the theater, and I'm not racing away from the theater to see it, kind of thing. She she also
Gotcha.
I also read something that um I also read something that said that she wants to be more accepting of like her age because she's 64, And she's like,
Right.
I mean, for Val Kilmer to do the movie, dude is he's 62, but they doctor him up like really good for the movie, like in
Yeah.
insanely. But yeah, anyway, I didn't know if you meant pardon me. I didn't know if you meant that you thought that the new uh Penny in the new movie, I didn't know if you thought that she was the same as the female lead from the original, because I was just clearing that up because
Yeah,
they're two.
yeah. If I wasn't told that by one of my relatives that night, I would have never known that. You know, the Penny playing this one, you know, was just a replacement. I would have never known that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and even with like Val Kilmer's character, I mean, obviously they had to doctor him up with everything, and there's been a lot of like movies that are like that. That sometimes they try to do these reboots and they try to get the same characters, but sometimes one character is either either had passed or they're just not interested in in doing another sequel and they got to cast somebody else. So it's like, okay, and I guess Penny is one of the like main characters, so it's kind of sometimes weird to see somebody else playing that character. But
Right.
for the most part, I mean, again, for not seeing the first one, I thought the lady who played her did a great job.
Yeah,
And
she was good.
for the fact that let's just call like if we can call a spade here, Tom Cruise doesn't age one
Whoopsie.
bit.
I I was literally just about to say, like, um
Dude's like a natural gifted freak.
yeah, I mean, for 60 years old, he can pass for like 45 tops, right?
Tops. Oh
top
yeah.
top guns. Oh yeah, tops.
Top Guns. Oh.
Yeah. Stupid. Okay.
Stupid.
We're so dumb,
But
man. I don't get it.
all in all, I would say, uh, if you made it this far, I recommend going seeing it. For somebody who hasn't seen, even if you haven't seen like me, haven't seen the first Top Gun, I would still recommend going to see it. Even if you haven't, uh, you know, had like a character backstory of what the whole story's about, I still think they can give you a perspective of what the movie's about.
Yeah, I mean, they do pretty good on doing like the backstory stuff if you haven't seen it. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
think
I didn't. If nobody was there, I wouldn't have known what was going on.
right,
You can kind
right,
of get like an idea of, okay, this character is like obviously the main character, and he's coming back to do this certain work and blah blah blah. Like there's nothing like you would have to see from the first movie in order to get to understand why he's going back.
right.
Because I thought they did a good job of explaining why.
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously recommend watching the first one if you can. Um,
Absolutely.
like, and this is for anyone. Like, I was thrilled that I watched it for my first time the day before I went and saw the new one because it was so fresh in my head still. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I imagine at some point like you'll go back and watch the first one,
Yeah.
and then you'll want to watch the second one again because you'll want to like actually tie the references into each other, right? Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, I've
yeah,
done that a couple times where I would see a movie and then knowing that it had, previous movies, if I didn't get to watch it, I'll be like, okay, well let me, watch the previous one or the original, see what that's like. And then if I can, I'll rewatch that movie. Oh, okay, now I understand where they were going with this part. So
yeah. Real quick, before we get out of here, I saw
mhm.
something before um before I logged in tonight, and I was like, I gotta send this to Anthony, and I was like, I
Okay.
oh, I just want to see your reaction to it, and we've talked about this on here before. So you definitely got to pop
Okay.
this. You definitely got to pop this picture up to show everyone.
Okay. Oh man. Oh jeez. We're definitely flipping this up.
All right, Anth. Anything
And
else?
we will we got to dedicate a podcast just to that thing. So we're gonna leave that as a little snowball for everybody. So maybe the next episode or two we'll get into what the reference is for that. So
No,
if you guys want to,
we
huh?
we totally talked about it on here. Well,
We gave a little snippet of it, but I think we didn't go into like a full aspect of it. So if you guys want to hear like a little bit longer of a thing of it, make sure you guys subscribe to us.
yeah,
Once it pod uh, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Give us a subscribe here on YouTube. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, a lot of other podcast platforms. So make sure you guys look us up on those One Set Pod and hit us up with an email, onesetpod@gmail.com.
that's the one.
Yeah, man. So anything else you want to tell our listeners before we get out of here, buddy?
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. And we will be looking forward to the next one. We've got some really fun things coming up for the fall season that we're talking about.
Yes.
Man, we are
Stay tuned.
we are coming up on a year of doing this. I'm pretty excited. I mean, I say that because September to me is usually like, okay, these next 4 months, like
Yeah,
they tend to fly, and out of nowhere
they really do.
it's the holidays, and out of nowhere it's the new year, and it's like, what just happened? Right. So
Right.
um
So we definitely got to get some things rolling, and like I said, we have some content planned out for you guys, and we hope you guys will be here to enjoy it with us.
absolutely, my dude, it's been real. One set pod, right? To everybody out there,
One set.
until next time, love you, brother.
Love you too, man.